Hello guys and welcome to PSI. My name's Mark. This video is an informative video. We had a chat with Jeff from the Warren Legacy Foundation for Paranormal Research. We wanted to ask Jeff the type of questions what we know you guys would ask if you had a paranormal problem at your property and you wanted part of their team to come down and investigate and hopefully try and figure out what was going on. So here's those questions, guys. Check the video out.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Schlachter. I am located in Toledo, Ohio, in the United States. I'm the Midwest Regional Director for the Warren Legacy Foundation. I am also the Operations Manager for the Warren Legacy Foundation. And we have over 100 members all throughout the world. And I guess that's the short answer.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, that's one thing too that we do want to do in the foundation is get more of a worldwide presence. We want to get more cases as well. It's, we're not trying to get a TV show, do YouTube videos and all that stuff. Our main goal is to help people. And if we're not getting cases coming in, then we're not doing our goal. So, some of the social media and the YouTube stuff and the shows, you have to do all that so people know who you are and that they, then learn that they can come to you with, paranormal problems.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about the Warren Legacy Foundation? How did it start and who started it?
So it started out, Chris McKinnell is the grandson of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and him and Lorraine wanted to Nesper was a New England thing, which is what Ed and Lorraine started and ran. But Lorraine was really, after the Conjuring movies came out, they were getting in all kinds of mail and calls and, people wanting help all throughout the United States and probably overseas as well too. But so it was bigger than what Nesper cared to get into. So Lorraine Warren and Chris McKinnell, the grandson, started the Warren Legacy Foundation. And with the goal being that, a worldwide outreach to help people keep everything quiet and anonymous and never ever charge for people. Another thing Lorraine really wanted to do, and it was important for the foundation, was to help psychics develop their gifts. So that's why we have the psychic support group as well, because that was a big wish of hers.
Yeah. Does the Warren Legacy Foundation investigate paranormal claims in the UK? I know you've just said that was the goal to become maybe worldwide.
Yeah, we absolutely are looking for cases in the UK. I mean, we have 5 members in the UK, 6. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody or I'll get in trouble. But yeah, we have a small presence. We obviously want to grow that. But we also want to get some casework coming in. And you had told me the other day that, the British people are very, very private and don't want their business known to people. So I guess that's a good message to the people of the UK is that, we do keep everything absolutely anonymous. So if you come to us for help, we're not going to put your address on, it's not like the old days where Ed and Lorraine would go to the press sometimes because that was their tactic for getting the Catholic Church involved in a lot of cases. So that's why they went to the press, was the main reason. But they did learn that, a lot of their clients, in some of the more famous cases, it ruined their lives. So that's why we keep everything quiet.
Yeah. No one wants the laundry aired in public, do they?
Right.
Yeah.
I watched a recent movie. It was on YouTube. I think it was called The Haunting. It was the Smurl case, one of the cases that the Warrens did. I think, one of the first ones that went public. And it actually, they urged them not to go public, but the family went public and regretted it. Was my understanding from the story anyway. So
what is the process for asking for help?
So yeah, if you've got something going on in your house, the first thing you want to do is go to our website and hit the Contact Us tab. And then it'll say help request or something like that, request for help. And then there's a form and we want you to answer the questions that are on that. And then that will go to the regional director. So if it's, if a case from the UK comes in, it will go to Lana. And then it'll go from there. And then, you know, meetings will be set up, interviews, things like that. So, and we'll determine then if we have to come out to your house, or, you know, a lot of times I've found that we can do a lot of stuff over Zoom, you know, because at the end of the day, this isn't like a TV show where we come in and magically clear your house of things. Because if you're not willing to make lifestyle changes or learn how to do it on your own, whatever's going on there is just going to come back.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of it. We do a lot of stuff through Zoom.
You know, if the Warren Legacy Foundation do turn up, what should people expect?
Very professional people. We're not going to arrive with, you know, Warren Legacy Foundation plastered on a van and t-shirts that say free investigations, because, you know, we don't want the neighbors knowing what's going on. So a lot of times, in most cases, you'll be asked to leave your house for a while. Sometimes, though, if we feel that the investigation might be centered or focused on one person, that, you know, we would have them come in. But we definitely do things a lot different than TV. We don't, you know, like, you know, some of the mediums will come in and just, oh, I feel a heavy presence here, you know, and say things like that right in front of the client. Like we don't do any of that. You know, we have rules for our mediums. We want them to go through and get a read, write everything down, and keep it to themselves until they're asked for it. But we never tell a client, well, yeah, I think, you know, that I think you got a portal in your basement. That's a very popular thing for people to say, you know, the last few years, everybody's got a portal somewhere. It's crazy.
It's one of those in vogue sayings at the minute, isn't it? Portal.
Yep.
So just to add to Mark's question, mine's very similar. And mine actually was, after a series of interviews, who would you send to my home first? Hands-on investigators or psychic stroke mediums?
It would be a team with both. So there would probably be a psychic or two on a team of like traditional investigators. My personal team here in Toledo, that's how we operate. We, you know, but we don't tell the client who the medium is, because we've found that they want to go to them. They want to have side chats with them and find out, you know, but, you know, our mediums know to not tell the client what they're picking up on.
That was going to be my next connected question.
Yep. Because I always like to have, so if a medium on an investigation tells me information, first, I don't want them to tell me beforehand. You know, sometimes if things are going slow, maybe towards the end of it, like the last session, I'll say, okay, where should we be? Where should we go? You know, but I don't want to know until I ask them for the information, what they're picking up on. And then a lot of times too, I don't even want to know until after I've reviewed the evidence, because, you know, that's why we have them write it down. So it's not like I come up with a man saying, watch your step. This happened on an investigation. And, but the medium had picked up that an owner had fallen down the stairs drunk in the basement. And so we kind of put two and two together that it's likely the old owner saying, watch your step, like, you know, because I fell. So, I mean, so we do like to try and back up, you know, psychic claims with actual evidence.
So I think that actually that has to be done, doesn't it? We've known so many teams that actually don't do that. Don't chase up on what the psychic or medium says, and it doesn't seem like they're bothered.
Right.
Because what the psychic or medium says is law, and you think, well, you know, research it. But yeah, I mean, that was one of my first questions to the WLF. Do you research mediums and psychics claims? I learned the way you did it, and I was thoroughly impressed. Yeah.
And even Lorraine Warren says that, you know, the greatest psychics in the world are only going to be accurate at most 70% of the time. So I mean, even the best ones, you know, throughout history, they're not all right. You know what I mean? So that's why we like to back it up with other stuff. We try to back up some of their claims too with research. Like if they pick up something that had, so then we'll research the property and things like that. Another thing that we don't do that, you know, a lot of other teams do and YouTube channels do and stuff, we're very, very selective on the equipment that we'll use and what we'll show a client as, you know, evidence. I personally definitely classify, there's a big difference between interesting and evidence, you know, and I'm not going to show them a K2 hit or, you know, I just, things that light up, I would very rarely show them unless it's like, okay, there is absolutely no way that lit up on its own, you know? So
Jeff, when he's talking about things that light up, are you referring to cat balls?
Yes, that's the spirit spheres, I think is what they're
Yes,
called.
yeah.
That adds $20 to the price. So
absolutely.
yeah. And I like to use equipment that does what it is designed to do, not altered by a ghost shop to, light up like the K2. I'm not a fan of that at all. I mean,
No.
Everything sets that off. And I've seen cases too where, teams have gone in a house with a video camera and a K2, and within 10 minutes, they're talking to a demon in front of the client because the K2 is lighting up that's sitting next to a cell phone. I mean, we've got to, the whole paranormal community has to stop showing people evidence, or not even evidence, but you know what I mean? We've got to stop telling people that we're communicating with something.
Yeah, and I think connected to that, the whole paranormal community needs to know what their equipment is for and actually what it does.
Yep.
Because I'm sorry, Mark.
I think you can blame TV for a lot of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it's so, you watch say a YouTube show or a TV show, and it's like they want you to believe that they're there for a day and they've got 10 pieces of evidence. I mean, in reality, it doesn't work like that. I mean, how many times have you guys sat there and watched hours of DVR camera footage and absolutely nothing happened?
We say this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We say this all the time, but with paranormal investigation, it's more to do with the thrill of the chase. Yep. You can be sat there 100% of the time, you won't get anything, but you've actually gone and investigated because you've heard stories that there may be something there, and you found out, well, there actually wasn't the time that we went, so we can't provide any evidence. But there are times that has happened. Every 3 months, it's on average every 3 or 4 months we can get an absolutely brilliant EVP.
Yeah,
and you know what? We're happy with that. That's 3 or 4 months work. One EVP, brilliant, superb. We're happy with that.
Yeah.
When you do your cases, you keep everything confidential, and you obviously make reports and things. Do you allow the clients to get access and have copies of all these?
The reports and things like that, yes. Yep. And we will, if we capture an EVP, we'll show it to them. We don't give it. I mean, in our waivers, anything we capture is ours. And sometimes I'll share it with the client, like not through the foundation, but in my personal, team here in Toledo. Sometimes I'll give them a copy of, everything that we've captured as evidence or found interesting, or, whatever. But I'm very, very selective on what I show them. Like, it has to be, I'm not going to play an EVP that's really, really mumbled and quiet, and I think it's saying this. I don't share things like that with them, because another big thing that we try to do is just eliminate the fear in people. So, we just don't hit on the scare factor. And that's, I think a lot of teams have like I said, a lot of teams will go in and say, oh, you've got a portal in your basement, and then see you later. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, well, what do I do now?
We're going to leave you with that problem. We've got to go home now.
Yep. And one thing too, that I found, I guess, in my years of doing this, like when I started, any call that would come in, man, I'd be over at their house tomorrow with cameras, full on Zach Baggins investigation, but now I found it takes a lot of steps for me to actually go investigate, because it's not fair for me to come in to your home and try and stir things up, not really provoke, but you know what I mean? I mean, we're asking questions and things like that. And, and then I get to go home, and then you're stuck with, okay, we didn't like that when these guys were here, so now we're going to act up. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Yep. But I mean, so like, for example, today I got a case here in town, and we're just going to set up some cameras for a couple of days. We're not going to investigate. We're not going to ask questions. We're not going to try and communicate. But our first step is we're just going to set up some cameras and see if anything happens, and then I'll go collect them, and then I'll be stuck for 40, 50 hours watching DVR footage.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Well, I say wonderful. Not everybody thinks it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because it does. It's not just a few hours, is it?
No.
I mean, sometimes Mark and I have reviewed footage. It's taken over the course of a week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're working as well, but it's got to be done, because this is how our best things have been found. Just sat there, just watching video after video, thinking, all right, okay, next one.
Yep. And then you fall
You know?
asleep, and then you got to start over.
Yeah.
You-
Right. So, just
Cool.
on average, how long does a case take to close for those that can be closed?
I mean, some are really, really fast. Like we had one the other day here in town that was, these people thought, and they were scared to death. They thought that there was a spirit opening their dog cage and letting their dog out
Okay.
because it was latched, when they got home, and the dog's out every time they left. So we did the same thing. We're not, see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, 5 years ago, I may have made the mistake of, oh God, we got to get investigations going and we got to do EVP sessions. But we just simply took cameras over there and, okay, what's going on? Well, how's the dog getting out? You know what I mean? But they were instantly, as soon as they saw how the dog did it, case closed,
Excellent.
We showed them, hey, it's a sneaky dog. But I mean, so some are that quick. Others, I mean, there's one case that we have in town. It's a friend of mine's case, but I've helped him a lot with it. That's gone on for about 10 years now. It'll ramp up. We figure out how to clear it, cleanse it, figure out what it is, that's a long process that takes a few months, cleanse it, get rid of it, whatever. And then we have the owner do it as well, but then it'll go dormant for a while. And then every 2-3 years, it's like, I don't know, like someone opened the portal.
So, wow.
Yeah,
That's a long time for something like that to be going on. Yeah.
A lot of warrant cases. I mean, there's a lot of them that I don't know, say average 2 to 3 months, maybe, and it's, but there's very few that I've totally closed because it's, because of that one, like I said, that like it flares up every couple of years. So, until I know that, okay, everything's gone, these people are on a good track to, we've taught them how to, cleanse their house, set up protections for themselves. Once we've taught them all that stuff and we feel satisfied, then we'll close the case. But they can always be reopened. I mean, that's not that big of a deal.
Jeff, obviously you go to some cases and some of it isn't paranormal. What if there was some issues with a family and, it could be anything like psychological, or there was constantly arguing and needed some kind of mediation? Would you offer like external support?
Yes, we definitely have pointed people towards, mental health services. Told people, hey, you should go to a doctor first before calling us. What a lot of times too, medications, if people are on, a combination of meds, they can cause you to feel like you're haunted, and you truly believe that it is. And, people, I think people, like, especially if they feel like they might be slipping into some mental health issues, they don't want to believe that. So they want to blame something else. And it's really easy to blame, a paranormal problem or spirits or something like that. But that is the case in a lot of our cases, is there's some mental health problems, that are usually involved, or drugs. Man, drugs are a big issue lately. I've had a lot of cases that, that's a big factor. In the way that I try and get people to, there's a group in my city, they're called Racing for Recovery, but they do online like AA meetings, or, help meetings for drug addicts and things like that. So I try and direct people to that, as well as directing them to get local help, because if you're using meth and you may legit have a paranormal issue in your house, until you deal with the meth problem, there's nothing anybody can do. I mean, it's, so that things like that have to be dealt with first. And same with mental health problems. I mean, those, not saying that you don't have a haunting going on or you don't have spirits involved, but you have to deal with the mental health aspect of it first, so that we can, completely rule that out, or I guess blame it on that, and like I said, those are hard conversations to have with people, because no one wants to hear that they have like a mental health issue or suspected.
No, of course.
Yeah. And obviously we do have some psychiatrists and doctors and things like that in the foundation, but we can't diagnose people as having, issues. So we can get their recommendation in private, but you'll never have a psychiatrist come on and give you a diagnosis as part of our investigation.
So, a little bit of an open question. something that you may have come across quite a lot, because we found ourselves that this appears to be more prevalent in the States than it is in the UK. So here's the open question: what are the chances of my problems being of a demonic nature, and how would I know?
Very, 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 very low. I mean, it's claimed in almost every YouTube video, real demon caught on tape. You know,
Yes.
it's a big problem. And the thing is, I think a lot of these people, then you watch the video and there's nothing demonic. They don't even really discuss anything demonic, but it's very dangerous that in even these fakers, you know, it's very dangerous because people don't know that it's fake. And then, you know, all of a sudden then they start thinking that they're having this problem. And well, if it says demon in the title, I mean, it's got to be demonic. And we have a lot of our questions, like, we don't ask him on all cases, but they are designed to kind of pinpoint if something could be demonic, you know, like there's like a catatonic state or an aversion to religious objects, things like that. I mean, that's and there again, if people answer yes to that question or those questions, that does not mean it's demonic. You know, I've seen, since I've been doing this, I've suspected 2 times.
Hmm.
Right, okay.
But I've, you know, many claims people are making that it's demonic. And, you know, I've got one right now where the client thinks that it's demonic. I keep saying it's not demonic. Like, I promise you, I believe I've seen it. So, and that's not what you have going on, you know? So, but it really gets into people's head that they're suffering from a demonic attack or a possession or something like that. And man, that scares them. That really scares them. And they're so hyper focused on it. It's hard to talk them out of it.
Yeah. Do you find that these problems can be fueled by people? I mean, what would be the percentage, just off the top of your head, of the people that come to you with problems who see all this stuff going on in these paranormal programs? Would you register a link there that is actually fueling them in some way? It's happening on TV. That's what we've got going on in our house. It is that.
It's either TV or, worse yet, I've seen this many times too, is that a paranormal team will come in, investigate your house, they'll get their video footage, and then they'll tell you it's demonic. We believe that you have a demon in your house, and then leave. You know, it's so I would say almost at least 90% of our cases, there's already been a psychic there or a paranormal team there, at least one. And they've already told them stuff that is awful and scary, and then not, and or they'll say, and I don't know how to deal with that, you know, and then leave them to, you know, now that they're told that they have a demon in their house, and, you know, see you later. I mean, it's crazy. It's another thing that I personally like to do too, is reach out to the church in cases like that. If someone is, you know, obviously if you're an atheist, you're not going to go to a Catholic church to, you know, but the church a lot of times too won't get involved with paranormal teams, at least here in the States. So we would turn the case over to them, you know, try, and if they'll talk to us, that's great. But a lot of times they say that you can't be involved in this and we'll take care of it, you know. So that's how I would go about, you know, a demonic case. And in the 2 that I've seen, we really tried to do that, is direct them to the church. And I mean, and I'm not saying too that the Catholic Church is the only church that can handle that. Certainly there's deliverance ministries, and, you know, the Bible doesn't say cast out demons by performing the rite of exorcism. You know,
no, it doesn't.
He told the disciples, go and cast out demons. So I believe that, you know, because people aren't doing it, it's God doing it. You know, your assistant, you know, you're
go and cast out demons in my name. You just go and do it.
Yep. And I've heard too, so I've watched a lot of videos on real exorcists, you know, and not these TV guys, you know, they're not all flashy. They're not doing TV shows, but, you know, some of them have been interviewed about what they do, and, you know, on podcasts and things like that. And one of them said he learned the hard way. He was going to cast this demon out, and he got slammed because his attitude was that he was going to do it and not God. And
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
man, if you
Yeah.
that's a dangerous place to put yourself in. That's why a lot of these TV exorcists, I don't believe, are even encountering demons because they think they're doing it, you know, and it's a big problem because people think they're legitimate Catholic exorcists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just listening to your
Absolutely.
stories, it sounds a lot different to what it does here in the UK, doesn't it? Obviously, you're talking about all these demons and exorcisms and things, and
Yeah.
all we hear is cat balls flashing and
Thank you, Spirit.
Well, that's I think I'd rather deal with that problem because that one's not as dangerous. You know,
yeah.
when you got, and that's another thing too, is so let's say you've got a perceived exorcist coming in and doing an exorcism on somebody that doesn't need it.
Mm.
So then in their mind, then the exorcists leave, then in their mind, it didn't work. So I'm going to be tormented with this thing now my whole life because that didn't work. And, you know, you could harm yourself or something like that because, you know, if you go do an exorcism on somebody that is schizophrenic or something like that, and you've told them that you are demon possessed and we need to do an exorcism, not, you know, we need to get some mental health assurances first, then, you know, you can't do that. That's dangerous and incredibly irresponsible.
Are your investigators obviously vetted and checked and everything before you let them loose?
The regional directors are pretty good about handling that. I mean, obviously anybody, you know, you both have been through the process to get in the foundation. Anybody can behave for an hour during an interview and sound like they know what they're talking about. So that's why we do the probation process as well. Just, I mean, like if you guys were in my region and I gave you a case, you know, because you guys are newer members, I would personally be involved in that case with you just to make sure that you do things the way that we do, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times. So I mean, and there's been issues before in the foundation with like, oh boy, how'd that person get in? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, our directors a lot of times will be directly involved with people that they personally don't know, you know, as their investigation methods and things like that. So, and we're going to do a lot more training. I keep saying it's a time thing, but you know, we're going to do a lot more training on proper ways of investigating just to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
And I think too, we don't want to just do it in the foundation. I think we want to put it on our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
And hopefully some of these other paranormal teams will come across it and maybe we'll strike a nerve with them. You know, if you give people bad information, it can be dangerous, you know, because
we have been unfortunate enough to know some teams in the past who have not had a clue. Right. Absolutely haven't had a clue. Yeah. And you would fear for the well-being of people if they were ever to sent to a home to investigate. Yep. You would, you know.
One red flag for me when we interview people is if we ask them a question, so how many demonic cases have you been on? If they say more than about, I mean, if somebody's been doing it 35 years and they tell me 10, okay, maybe I'll buy that answer. But if they've been doing this for 10 years and they say, oh, I've done 50 cases that are demonic and I've cleared the demons myself, I immediately just, you know, okay, I fold up my questionnaire and, you know, we're done with this.
I think we've done 0 in about 18 years.
Yeah.
It's
so rare. And I'm going to be honest with you. The first one that I came across, man, I was not expecting that. That was like, you'll know it when it's there. Like you'll know it when it's a real one. And that's why I mean, all these people that say, oh yeah, I do 75% of my cases are demonic. It's like, there is no way. There's no way.
Yeah. I mean, we always say between us anyway, both Mark and I, and we have mentioned this to other teams who don't seem to believe us for some reason. But we say, are you sure that's paranormal? You know, paranormal activity of any sort is extremely rare.
Right.
Oh, no, it's all paranormal, is it? Okay. Yeah. Jeff, some people just don't get it. Everything's paranormal.
Yep. And you can usually tell the ones that have trained themselves by watching the TV shows. I mean, it's really, really obvious when you talk to them. It's like, okay, you're a big fan of Ghost Adventures too, huh?
I think we went to the last one we did at the hotel. There was a bit shocked that we pulled out all these log reports and clipboards and started taking notes of what you're doing. I said, we're investigating.
who actually pulled pens out.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, that's really, to be honest, I don't watch a lot of paranormal shows anymore. I enjoy that show. I really think that's a good show. It's, and the episode that you guys were on, I thought was fantastic.
It was
Excellent.
interesting.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant
Yep.
experience. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We never said it was paranormal either. We never still said that.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
all explained.
Yep.
We've only had one visit. How do we know?
Yeah. Yep.
Jeff, what do you have an oh my god moment you've experienced with a psychic or medium where they've absolutely nailed it? I mean, we're not asking you to go into details, but if there's any, it's that thing you're thinking of now where you thought, how could they know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm, and that's another thing too. I'm skeptical about mediums. So there's a lot of people that say they are, think they are, and I just, or they think they're way better than they actually are. You know what I mean? And but they're so confident in what they say on their readings that it's like, well, you better train yourself a little bit and tone that down until but I'm still, so I have a few that I use because I've vetted them, and I trust their readings, and, so I usually go to those people. That's a big problem with cases, is these overconfident mediums go in and tell you have 25 spirits in your house and you probably should sell it.
A few egos on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think the best mediums are the quietest ones. Like, they're not all over YouTube and Facebook and doing live shows, giving readings and all this stuff. Actually, most of the ones that I use don't really get into any of that stuff. They're very, very quiet. This is their calling, is to help people, not, give readings and things like that. So
not to promote themselves.
Right. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with it, the ones that do, but it's just, I found that the best ones that I've worked with they're just super quiet about it. They don't run around telling everybody that they're mediums. They can do what they do, and they're good at it, and they keep it to themselves.
Can you just quickly tell us how much the foundation has changed in ways of investigating since the times of Ed and Lorraine?
Ed and Lorraine were very psychic forward. You know what I mean? Yes, they still used equipment, things like that, but whatever Lorraine said was gospel on an investigation. I think I never knew the Warrens, so I'm just, this is what I've gathered from, working with Chris and Joe and stuff like that. So they were very, very psychic forward, and Ed really was not everything, but a lot of things are demonic. I mean, they really, really went that demon route a lot, and it's because they were both very, very strict Catholics. And back then, the Catholic Church, even today, they don't get involved with paranormal stuff, because in their belief, it's all the devil or demons, they don't believe in, spirit communication and things like that. It's changing a little bit, I think, but the church, their official stance is that we don't do ghosts, it's demonic, and we have, they have their ways of dealing with it. So that's probably one thing that's changed since them, is that we do have a lot of equipment now. Video cameras are easy to obtain, and voice recorders and things like that. So I think a lot has been learned on how to, it's not quite scientifically investigate, but more of a, attempted scientific method. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do the cat balls, because they've been proven time and time again that they don't work. I don't do the flashlights, because I've seen videos on why you can't use flashlights. I mean, it's
it's like the physics behind why they work. It can just be explained.
Yep. K2 meter, a lot of that stuff, I just don't do it, because it's already been, if there's a question on equipment, you have to throw it out, in my opinion, because maybe your K2 did legit go off, but most likely it wasn't legitimate. It wasn't a spirit doing it. It was, something else. Same with like the Ovulus and all that crap that people use. It's I have instances where, okay, that thing worked this time, one time out of 20. You know what I mean? It's like,
can we just say thank you for taking the time out and talking to us?
Oh, for sure. Yep.
And it'd
Yeah,
be
it's been
cool.
excellent, Jeff. Thank
It'd
you.
be cool if we could get together again and have, like, obviously a similar sort of chat on different things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're like I said too, we really want to start focusing on not just education within the foundation, but education on our YouTube page. The Warren Files is the foundation's YouTube page, because you know, hopefully people come across it and we'll stop having to look at orb pictures, you know, 10 a day on paranormal Facebook pages.
Yeah.
If I see another spider web that's floating in front of a camera that's lit up like a ghost, and people they just don't believe you when you tell them it's not a ghost, it's a spider web. Like I see it 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're here and we're happy to help if you need anything.
Yep.
And we feel your pain.
Yeah. I very rarely engage anymore, because you know, it just doesn't go anywhere. It just turns into an argument. So if I really feel somebody might be open-minded and is generally asking a question on what that is, then maybe I'll, you know, put a post up or something, but that's rare. Yep.
Thank you.
We'll speak to you again shortly at some point.
All right.
Wonderful.
Sounds good. All right, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Jeff.
Yep, you too.
Yeah. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
All right,
God bless.
We appreciate you watching. If you would like to find out some information for yourself from the Warren Legacy Foundation for Paranormal Research, that address is at the bottom of the video in the description and on the screen now. We'll see you real soon, guys. Take care.